Hey bud, what are we doing this morning?
What's up? Well, we're in Colorado. We're getting ready to go out and do a little bit of scouting. Replacing batteries right now on some cameras that we're probably going to put out, find some good spots. It's a little chilly this morning. Check out the view though. It's beautiful.
It is.
Us flatlanders don't get to see that much.
No.
This unit supposedly has quite a bit of people. As you can see, there's probably about 6 horse trailers out here. They're scouting as well. But there's also a lot of elk. So a lot of outfitters come out here with their clients. So we're gonna try it out. This is just one of our spots. We've got probably around 4 spots that are all spread out around this unit, one in another unit that's adjacent to this one. So we're gonna check it out and see what happens.
So what do you got in there, babe?
So this is my oats. They're berry oats, and then I got dried strawberries, cranberries, yogurt covered raisins, and protein, a little bit of water for milk replacement. So this is about, it's just under 1,000 calories, so pretty solid. Very good too. We've hiked how many miles you said?
3.5.
3.5 miles. Solid elevation. We went from 8.5 at camp to now we're at
about 10.
Yeah, almost 10,000 now. So just to the right of this hill right here. That's pretty slanted. They might push up to something like that. So my backpack has a bad creak to it, as you can hear. So we were taking a video to send to Badlands. And so I'm sitting there, loud, finish the video. I look to the right and I see some brown move about 50 yards off. Cora sees, well, she sees his antlers. It's a freaking bull. So he kind of walks off. We had perfect wind with us. We were real quiet, walked along a little trail, a game trail, and got up on him, and he was down in here. We figured he had kind of went down the mountain a little bit. But so he just went right down there, so we figured we'll come and peek over the edge. And we sat here for about 5 minutes, and sure enough, that bull starts walking out a nice 5x5. Nice. We got some good footage, we'll play that, but man, he came out probably 60 yards below, walked out to 90 and just chilled there for probably 5-10 minutes. We got a finger coming down over here with a nice stream, and that's covering our noise, and he just walked off towards that stream, so we might get another glimpse of him. But right now we're at 10,200, 10.2 right now. That's where we're gonna be hunting on the second half of September. But he was up here, man, but that was awesome. are descending right now. We're at about 9,600, right? 9,600 feet. We started seeing a lot of poop back there, pretty fresh. We saw some that were a couple days old, just lots of elk poop. So we came down a little further. We seen poop like today. Sure enough, I saw a cow elk. Didn't see her real well. Then she kind of took off. The wind's swirling right here, so she probably winded us. She took off up the mountain, crashed way up there. So we made her, oh, I just bit my tongue. We made our way a little lower, and I spotted a cow elk 45 yards broadside, right there, not even looking at us. That's 2 cow elk right here, poop everywhere, so it's a good sign.
This right here is absolutely what we're looking for. This is definitely a huge elk scrape. As you can see, it's around the whole tree, and there's some nice bedding around right in here. You can tell they've been stomping around, so you know you're in the right spot when you start seeing this. Super pumped.
All right, Miss Cora, day 2. Tell us what's on the menu.
So yesterday was our longer hike and trek in, since we did about 11 and a half miles. Today we're probably gonna end up around 7 miles. We're about 6 miles from where we were yesterday, so where we are right now has a lot more water, like little ponds and things like that, so we're hoping to see a lot more sign, but we're excited. We don't know. We have a few more spots in mind, so gonna check this one out today. Super hopeful.
Sounds like a plan.
I can see a bear going in there.
Yeah.
These topo maps are a lifesaver. We're about to go up to this point and then come off the trail and go up here where all these water sources are. The more apart they are, the easier the incline is. So we're gonna get off the map, off the trail up here, go up a little ways, and if you keep going, it's a super high elevation, like 11,200 up here, but we're gonna look around here at all these different water sources and feeling pretty good about it.
Little lunch break stop. On the menu we got some caffeine, Power Crunch bar, tuna. How about you, Cora?
I got some sweet and spicy tuna. First time trying it and kind of digging it. We're just gonna do a quick stop, quick eat, keep moving.
Right now we are right here in this lighter timber. So, a little tip, they're gonna bed in this darker stuff all around, all over here. So we got a nice water hole here, a real nice meadow, and this is about 10,400 feet all in here. So we're gonna work our way to this meadow, see if we can find any wallows in here, check this for bedding, all this dark timber, and then this is the real steep stuff. This is probably where they'll shoot up to when the muzzleloader season starts. So we're gonna work our way right over here and just check out this meadow and dark timber.
Basically, Ryan and I smell elk really bad right now. Like, it's super strong. If you ever grew up around horses or know what horses smell like, it basically smells exactly like that. Maybe a little bit muskier, but we really smell it right now, so you need to pay attention to the wind, keep quiet, and keep your eyes out. We just bumped a bull right over here. probably about 30 yards, and I don't think it ran that far away. The wind is in our favor, so we're gonna try and see if it went towards the water.
We made it.
Woo! Alrighty. I'm gonna stop the tracking and we'll see what the damage is. Well, good morning, everybody.
What's up, guys?
It is a chillin' 35 degrees outside this morning.
Last night we moved spots. From our other spot, we went an hour and a half away to a supposedly honey hole. It's supposed to be a great spot. I could see why no one would come out here, because we drove for probably about an hour and 20 minutes on a forestry road last night, and that thing was the worst road I've ever been down in my life. I mean, Cora can vouch.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. I mean, going 3 to 5 miles per hour the whole way here. It was awful. So we finally made it, and then in this field, it had us pass this fence, come this field, and there's rocks everywhere, man. And so we were hitting rocks. Yeah, I mean,
the truck was not happy.
Yeah, I'm gonna need new brakes and tires and rotors by the time we get back, but hey, we're out here to kill elk. This has been our casa for the last couple nights. Basically, I built this all out of wood. It expands out to what you see now and then closes in to about 24 inches, and the bed comes up kind of like a futon. Got a little counter over here to put our stuff. We got our charging station, which is 715 watt-hour lithium battery. This is where we'll be every few days. This is our base camp. We'll have our spike camp on the mountain. So every 3 to 4 days, we'll probably come back to the truck, reevaluate, possibly move spots. But it's very nice. Oh, and then under here, it's kind of dirty, but we got our boots, clothes and stuff. We're gonna put some tubs under here so that we can store food for the longer trip, and clothes and other things. But very nice, very nice. This is what we're going through right now. We are on the side of the mountain scaling it, and all this freaking trees that are falling over. We're at 10,800 feet right now, so we're pretty high. Our goal is to get to the peak at 11,100, but it's not this peak, it's the mountain over. But once we get through all this stuff, we'll be pretty close to the peak, and then it's a real gradual climb for about 150 feet. But this is terrible right here. I mean, we've been hiking for 2 hours and we've gone 1 mile. Biscuits and gravy, baby. This is our first time elk hunting. We're not professionals. We're going off of family and friends, their success and what they've informed us of. About 8 months worth of podcasts, YouTube, web searches. I mean, we've been scouting and just listened to all that for a while now, and we're just trying to take in everything. And then we're just using you know, basic animal habits. I mean, what they do, food, water, bedding. So we're taking all that into account. We're learning. Hopefully we can help others learn along with us, because we are not experts, but we're having fun. Yeah. And so hoping for success. You know, we'll go out there, we'll push harder than anyone that's out there, I guarantee you that. We are back home from Colorado. We're just gonna do a little recap on each day of the 3 days we were out there. Just recap it for y'all. We kind of regret not talking as much in the field. We've been watching the footage, and we really didn't explain a lot of our plans. We just went ahead and did it. We were trying to get stuff done because we only had 3 days in the field.
We were also trying to breathe. It was what y'all didn't see in between cuts.
Oh man, yeah, it was
no joke.
It was killer, and I was really upset. I just got over COVID. I had it pretty bad. I got pretty down, and I was upset that we were going to Colorado. Well, anyways, I thought I was out of shape, but Cora was hurting too, and it was like the first, 500 yards of our hike, we just couldn't breathe. I mean, and I didn't know if it was COVID, we just didn't work hard enough, prepare hard enough, but we've been putting in work. Well, anyways,
yeah.
After that 500 yards, it was like totally different. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were able to get through 12 miles without a problem, really. Mm-hmm.
And it was every single day too. Like the first 300 yards sucked, but it got better. This is our little puppy Mowgli, so he's co-starring right now.
But so you'll see that. But after those first few starts of the morning, we were all good after that. So that was exciting.
So I'm just gonna go through the first day with you. So we drove like all day, probably like 13, 14 hours. We finally got there that evening. In the morning, we actually got to go outside and look around, see what kind of environment we were actually in. It's absolutely beautiful. We did our longest hike on the first day. It was probably about 11 to 11 and a half miles. We first started off on the head trail. We walked down 2 miles, got off the trail, and right away we saw some mule deer by the river, so that was awesome. That was a cool experience just right off the bat. Really cool. We were able to get really close to her too because the river was loud, so that was nice. Got to have that experience. Our whole goal for that day was to go up to 3 meadows throughout the day, and once we got to each meadow, just to look at what water was around and try to glass from there. So once we got up to the first meadow, we were exhausted. We had a little snack break, we marked some water and looked around. Next, when we were making our way up to the second meadow, we were able to see an elk cow, so that was cool. We got pretty close to her, and then she booked it off into the next county probably. Yeah. But after that, we made it up to the third meadow. You couldn't really glass from there or see much, but that was okay because we were able to see a coyote, or coyote, however y'all say it, wherever you're from. And then some cows were actually freaking cows were up that high.
I mean, that was 10,000.
Yeah, 10,004 or something like that. If I was a cow, I would not be up that high.
We didn't expect them to be up that high, but we were seeing cow poop, like cow poop, and so we were like, we didn't know. We're like, what does this do? Well, it turns out they go that high. So.
Real freaking cows. They were in the pasture just grazing.
Props to them.
I know. Yeah, they probably have awesome legs. But so once we made it to the third meadow, that was as high as we were going for that day. We were able to cut across that meadow. We were heading towards some water, and that is when we were stopped in our tracks. We saw our first bull of the day and of our scouting trip. It was an awesome 5x5. Awesome. We did not expect that. Yeah. Definitely a unicorn for public land hunting, so that was super cool. We got to get really close to, probably like 60 yards or so, because we had the wind in our face. It was perfect. He looked at us, didn't really know what we were, but I mean, yeah, he kind of trotted off, and then that's when we kind of put a mini stalk on him, and the wind was perfect for us. We were able to we didn't go very far. We just scaled the ridge of the mountain, and then we smelled them really strong, very strong smell, yeah. Musky, like horse stable smell, if you know what that is. Yeah. So we just stopped for 5 to 10 minutes, and sure enough, he was right below us, came out. That's in the video you saw. He came out at 60 yards. Yeah. That was what was really cool about him is he did not take off into the next county. He just kind of didn't know what we were, checking us out. And that was a great experience. So after that, we went to 2 big water holes, like tanks, and you could tell tons of animals were coming into there. And we tried to put a camera up, but my camera, I have cellular cameras, and the one is a stealth cam
only cellular. My other one is a regular game cam with a spy point on it, the little link. Well, I just brought the stealth cam, and apparently you can't, it will not operate unless you have service, and we didn't have service, so we were unable to put a camera up, which sucked. But
which is also okay though, because you know definitely he's probably going there and drinking.
Yeah.
And there's tons. There's like 6 different trails leading to that water spot, so that was a good sign. After we left the water hole, we started our descent to go eventually back towards the truck. We were in between a finger, so there was a little stream going, and we smelt that smell again. So this time it wasn't as strong, but we smelt that smell, so we stopped, and there was 2 cows on the other side of the river. So we were able to see them. They saw us a little bit, but didn't take off and run or anything that hard. That was a good experience. And then once we got back to the trail, it was 2 miles back to the truck. We had to cross this little river, got our boots a little bit wet. We were smarter the second time and took off our boots walking through the water.
Yeah. There's that water that's just above boot level that'll get you, and we learned that on the way out there. But
always bring extra pairs of socks. We did, but make sure to let them dry out in the sun as you're walking. Tie them up to the outside of your bag. And that was a good day 1. That was our first day. It was very exciting seeing a bull right off the bat. So, and you know that always doesn't happen on public land.
No, definitely. Day 2, we slept in the truck, went to our other spot, wasn't very far from our first spot. We started out on a trail, was supposed to be ATV and 4-wheeler as well as horse accessible. I don't see how anyone could get any of that down there. It was crazy. I mean, it was about this wide at multiple points. You're zigging and zagging. Anyways, we go down this trail, end up cutting off up the mountain, probably about 2 miles in. Right when we cut off, we were traveling through the light timber, nothing super heavy, it's pretty open. So we didn't expect to run into any elk. Well, we jumped one right off the bat. Wind wasn't good, which we figured we wouldn't see him anyways. But we saw a cow, so that was pretty nice. Make our way up the mountain. We get to around 9,500 was a water tank that we were going to that we wanted to check out. We ended up finding some human sign there, which was kind of upsetting, but it's public land. We found some gun hunters that were just hanging chairs in trees, walking out there and basically just setting the chair right there. They had it cut out to where they could just look at the water tank from under the tree. It was probably about an 80-yard shot, you know. Yeah. Whatever, it is what it is, they're hunting. So then we made our way up further. We had another meadow, a really big meadow we wanted to look at that was high. Made our way up, and we got to the meadow at 10,400-ish. Yeah. It was pretty high, huge meadow. Saw some decent elk sign, and then there was a very steep mountain that peaked off at 11,200, I believe. And it really looked like when pressure came in, those gun hunters and whatnot will be there during muzzleloader season. They would push up these fingers, and there was some dark timber that was real steep, good spots everywhere. So I think our plan for that is going to be get up to the meadow. We have a camping spot marked off. We got water behind us, grazing out to the left of us, and then bedding all to the right, so that perfect triangle. So we're gonna camp out there and kind of glass that meadow and up high and see if they're traveling up higher the finger to the meadows higher, or if they're staying at where we're at. If they're higher, we're just gonna hike up. We have a couple spots marked that are out of the bedding areas that are fairly gradual, and some just flat faces marked off up top that we'll camp at and kind of glass down and beside us. So that was pretty much day 2. We didn't see a lot of animals. We saw the mule deer that you will see in the video. Got real close to her, and then 2 elk. We bumped another one, but not much happened on day 2, but it looked like a pretty decent spot, so we're happy about that. Yeah. And then we made our way an hour and a half north to our 3rd spot, and Cora will take over from there.
Yeah. So day 3, we drove an hour and probably 15 minutes at 5 miles an hour in the dark down this Forest Service road, and it was terrible. I mean, you should have either had a horse or maybe a 4-wheeler, but in the dark, our truck was like bottoming out, and rocks were hitting the frame. It was awesome. Highly not recommended. So since it did take so long to get out there, we ended up at 10-2, and we don't think that many hunters would go out there at 5 miles an hour. I mean, definitely no horse trailers could go out there, no cars or vans or anything like that. You definitely have to have a truck or a horse going very slow.
Yeah,
but
it's out there.
Yeah, his way out there. Once we got out there, we were on the south side of the mountain, hoping to finally peek over and look at the north side. It was the roughest day out of all of our days. The south side is not no joke of hiking up the mountain. Everything was dry, dead. There was rock like avalanches. There were trees that had fallen down. I mean, we were probably going at like 0.2 miles per hour.
Tons of deadfall. We were just, it took us forever. And once we did the elevation, we were pretty much just scaling that mountain, and it still took us. I mean, I think, around 0.4 miles per hour was our total average. 0.5, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. But finally, once we got up on top of the mountain, it was 11-ish, 11-1. Once we got on the northern side of the mountain, there was sign everywhere. There were rubs and scrapes everywhere. There were fresh elk poop. I mean, we were super excited. I personally, I didn't think that elk were going to be up that high at this time of the year since they're not pressured yet. But they're definitely up there.
We're learning, so they were up there.
They're up there. Maybe to stay a little bit cooler because it is hot this summer. But yeah, there was a lot of elk sign. There was a big, nice field where they would go and graze. So that was good. It's probably going to be our last spot to go hunt though, just because how long it did take for us to get out there. And that was just on the Forest Service Road. I mean, we were already driving down a dirt road for probably another 45 minutes before that.
And then the hour and 30-minute drive there, so it was, it was a drive.
Yeah, it took a hot minute, but it was definitely worth it to see all that sign and check out that place. But probably going to be one of our last spots we go hunt. But it's good to have multiple spots just in case to have a backup plan. If there's going to be a lot of hunting pressure at our other spots and where we saw that bull, we're probably going to have to pull off to out there. So always have spots in mind.
So that was our recap. It was a very fun trip. We learned a ton.
But we're going to keep dropping a little bit of nuggets here and there, golden nuggets, just for tips and things like that. So y'all can capitalize this year on your elk hunt. We wish you the best, and thank y'all for watching. Yeah, and if you have any tips for us that you see in the video, let us know. Also, you're going to hear my bag squeak the whole time. I know that, so don't tell me that. That's being fixed. But thank y'all so much for watching. We're actually probably going to do a pack dump video, a scouting pack dump video here right now, and release that as a separate video because this video is running a little long. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch y'all later.